Okay, so today I am joined by Marc Rayner. Thank you for coming in to see me.
That's all right. It's
Very
always a
nice
pleasure.
to see you. You know that you're my favourite, so obviously.
Okay, we said we weren't going to go with that, but yeah, I am.
Definitely one of my favourite humans, obviously. But thank you for making the journey come to see me. Just wanted to talk a little bit about why you started your business. Obviously, you have been in the industry and in and around the industry for a really long time, so I want to talk a little bit about that. But first of all, just hear a little bit about your story, really. So for those that don't know who you are, just share a little bit about you first.
Well, I normally, when I meet people, I start by saying I am Marc Rayner, as if that's some way important. But nevertheless, I am Marc Rayner, and I am a father to one child, a beautiful daughter that I'm ever so proud of. Yeah. I have what I would class as a relatively large family, and being that my family are very sort of community based, if you like. We take a lot of people on. You always feel like you're part of a much bigger family.
Yeah.
So I guess through life, we've always been there, been around. I come from Bedford, so that's where I was born and bred. Some may say I was dragged up. That's something to do with being in Bedford, I think, but it's a lovely town. Went to school in Kempston. Started working my way through work before I left school. It was important to me. I don't know where I got that from. I think it was my granddad, a lot, that I looked up to. He was sort of our man at the top. Actually, it wasn't really a man at the top. It was a woman. My nan's the boss. He done well to show that he was the boss. So always very much into work before I left school. Made my way through a few different jobs, really, retail, takeaways, washing cars, whatever it was, to have money, and not to save money like you're supposed to, but to spend it. I like spending money, and obviously my sister always knows when it's payday, so I always knew I had to do really well in work. I went into security then. I did a few moves from Bedford to Luton, worked in Luton. Really good job that was quite exciting. I had gun pulled on me, all sorts of stuff.
Oh wow.
I know.
It's
brilliant
though.
That's another day. But then I came out of that, and for a very temporary time, I say very temporary, if my nan's watching this she'll probably laugh at that. I think it was supposed to be 6 months and it ended up being 6 years. Because I was split up with someone and I moved from Luton with my nan in Flitwick. I spent a long time in Flitwick with my grandparents and making sure that they were okay. And they said to me, you've got to find a job and we've got one for you. And I said, what do you mean you've got one for me? Well, Granddad, he knows everybody and there's an estate agent that wants to take you on. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Why not? I said, I'll get my own job, thank you. So I wrote to all of them, including the one where I already knew I had the job, and I went for interviews there and got the job. But I got the job everywhere I went, which was quite nice. Never did any good for my head. I try not to let these things get to my head, but nevertheless, I picked the company I was going to go for, and I worked there for a couple of years until I kind of outgrew it. But I think I outgrew it because whilst I enjoyed it, and I got some good stories around some of the things I had to sell, including baths being suspended above a bath, halfway in the bathroom in the roof. I sold that one, and I did it by an open day. But so we move on from that. There is a few more, but alcohol being thrown everywhere, husband and wife breaking up, that kind of thing. It's all there. But yeah, I was kind of with them, and I found out that my stepmom had got an interview open day. She's going to love this piece because I got the job, she didn't. But it was to go into new build, and I thought, well, that might be a bit better because it was more regulated. I like the idea of it being regulated,
right?
Because bad practices wouldn't happen, and all of that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd go into new build, and I spent a long time in new build. very successful. Was very much used as a, let's go to Mark before we mothball the site, or if it was in trouble, let's get Marc Rayner on it. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. It gave me a sense of purpose. I have to have a sense of purpose in life.
Yeah.
I'm a bit needy, not in a bad way, I don't think. You know, if my sister says I've got a job to do and I say I'll do it and then I don't do it, she might then turn around and say someone else is doing it, and then I'll have it done within about 10 minutes of her opening her mouth, because I can't have someone doing it over me. And then, yeah, so then I got into my new build, and it's very good to see the regulation. And obviously I progressed through my career, and, you know, I sort of led some sites, and, you know, was sort of a team leader type person. Even if I didn't have the title, it was very much where I went, I kind of did that. And I kind of found my vocation, in the sense that I enjoyed property, but most of all I enjoyed people, and I most enjoyed their stories.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit nosy, but it's always meant, being nosy always meant I could help my customer better. So I was always quite happy that I was nosy. Some stories I wish I hadn't have heard. But there we go. So yeah, so then I took another direction. And I went into retirement, and I kind of remember at the beginning, oh, what am I going to do that for? But someone reminded me that I'm very good with people of age.
Yeah.
And I suppose...
You're good with all people.
I am good with all people, but I have a very caring sort of thing about me. And I guess I saw that with the older generation, I could make a big difference to them and generally put a smile on their face. And I suppose when people are looking at that end of their sort of living, if you like, they're in a different frame of mind. And I think it's important, you know, for them to understand and realise that they still have life, and they've still got life, and they've got to live that. And I was going to only make sure that if they came in contact with me, that's what we were going to do. And I went in as a sales manager, and I very much enjoyed the teams that I worked with. We done very well. And we came out of it with record sales for, you know, an opening village, if you like. So it was in the private retirement village sector. We did awfully well, and there was a lot of happy people, even though they were waiting 4 years before they could move in.
Wow.
Having had a 2-year delay.
Well, that's a relationship to nurture, my God.
Yeah, and it was, but it was enjoyable. Unfortunately, you know, I did have to go to a funeral and stuff, and in that time, and it was very hard, but it kind of really showed the level of connection that you had with people and the bonds we made. So obviously you've given us your story from young, spent a lot of time in Flitwick, as well as other areas of Bedford. Obviously you've done residential estate agency, you've done lettings as well, you've done new build, you've done obviously retirement properties as well. So you've covered pretty much every area possible when it comes to property and dealing with people when they're at that point in their life where they're making a decision that is a very important one, and also a very stressful one. And I can see how you would have been extremely successful, because just your personality alone would help people through those difficult times, I'm sure. But I think what I want to really sort of understand from you is why now? Why now to go out alone, having had all that experience, worked in lots of different areas? You've now started your own business, backed by the largest real estate organisation in the world. Why now?